Good afternoon, live from the Vatican. We're coming back on the air because there is smoke again coming from the chimney. Let's go right to the live picture. The swell of applause from the square right here, St. Peter's Square, obviously. And you can see right there would appear to be a white smoke, which would be an extraordinary development here in Vatican City. We have given the smoke some time over the last couple of smoke signals because often it can change in color. But as you can see from the faces in the crowd, it would appear the Catholic Church has a new pope. James Longman live down on the square. James, the reaction is unmistakable. The faithful who have gathered here now wait for word on who this new pope will be.
It is truly, truly extraordinary, David. Everyone just rushed towards the big screens because they're out here on the square so people can get a proper look. As soon as the image came up there, we heard a big cheer. Everyone rushing forward with their phones to try to get a look. You can see all around us, we've got the windows opened on the buildings around St. Peter's Square, people flocking to take photographs. They're desperate to know who's going to be Pope. We did not imagine it was going to be this quick. This is fast by the standards we've known over the last few conclaves. That's the bell ringing to confirm that it is indeed white smoke. Last time, I think people remember that there was some confusion. No one could get hold of the bell tower, the guy who's supposed to ring the bell, because the smoke had gone grey. That was when Benedict was elected. Now no confusion. The bell is ringing, the smoke is billowing, and we have a new pope, a 267th pope. What an
James
atmosphere
Longman
down
with
here,
us
David.
live here. Let's take a moment, James. Stick with us, James. Let's just open up full here for the sound of the bell ringing here in St. Peter's Square, the signal that there is now a new pope. Let's listen. Of course, for those of you watching back in the United States, we wanted to allow you to feel as though you're right here at the Vatican with us, to hear the bells ringing. You can see the tens of thousands who've gathered in St. Peter's Square, the smoke coming from that chimney, unmistakable, the white smoke that we had been waiting for. And obviously we know that inside the Sistine Chapel right now, the 133 cardinals, the electors who chose the new pope, and one of them in that room will now serve as the next pope of the Catholic Church. We know inside the room what happens, and this is where it gets a little tricky. The Secretary of State, Pope Francis's Secretary of State, would be the person who would ask the cardinal, do you accept? What could be tricky is if perhaps he's the choice. We do not know who the next pope is. He was one of the main contenders here. But whoever it is has been asked, do you accept? And once they accept, they then are asked, what name would you like to have? How will we refer to you moments from now when we introduce you to the world right here in St. Peter's Square? The balcony, of course, right behind us. The velvet drapes have been hanging now for a couple of days. You can see the applause down there in the square as the bells continue to ring. Lindsay, an extraordinary atmosphere here at the Vatican.
It certainly is, and just so much excitement. You can still see people in the area just running just to get near St. Peter's Square. We can only imagine the potential for hundreds of thousands. The square itself can hold about 250,000 people, in addition to the thousands that will likely pour onto the surrounding streets. This seems pretty in line with the last two conclaves. When you look at 2013, the white smoke appeared at 7:06 p.m. 2005, the white smoke at 5:50 p.m. We're talking about the fifth ballad when it was Pope Francis, the fourth ballad when it was Pope Benedict. And here we are. We talked about this, the likelihood that it would happen, the average 3.3 days, as that cardinal had said to James several days ago, that something unusual will have happened if we do not have a new pope by Friday. Here we are on Thursday with that announcement imminent. If the past is any indication, it likely may be 40 minutes or so before we hear Habemus Papam, we have a new pope.
The two words we will wait to hear, of course, and from the balcony here in St. Peter's Square. You can see it in the faces of the faithful who have gathered here. And we've taken note. You know, Lindsay, you've been down there. I've been down there as well, talking to so many of the people who have gathered here to witness this particular moment, though they were happy even when they saw the signal of black smoke, because they knew they were part of history. And so many of the people I talked with, both Catholic and non-Catholics, said they were drawn to the Vatican. And many of them told me, those who were not Catholic, said they were drawn here because of Pope Francis and his ability to reach out beyond the Catholic Church, the human touch, reaching out to every corner of the globe. And the question is, and there are many, but one of them is whether or not within the Sistine Chapel they decided to go in the same direction, a similar direction, at least when it comes to reaching out to the peripheries, the people who are unheard, unseen in every corner of the world, that that'll be part of the patchwork that is put together by this next cardinal who will soon be introduced not only here at the Vatican, but to the world as the next Pope of the Catholic Church.